I'm Robin.
I'm Dan.
And we're the Ramblers. We're sitting here along the banks of the Missouri River.
We are at Fort Abraham Lincoln State Park.
Yes.
In North Dakota.
And at this park, George Custer and his troop stayed.
Right, George Custer was the commanding officer here for a while.
Correct.
Obviously before
his death in 1876. This is where he was living as he trooped down there.
Yeah, and this area, this town here is called Mandan, and that was the Native American that lived here were the Mandan. I'm not sure how you say it. Mandan.
And the Slanta village.
Anyway, they lived here in a village on the banks of the river here.
Lewis and Clark came along here. This was a great place for travel and exploration. And beyond us is a town, you can see it back there, is Bismarck. And Bismarck is the capital of North Dakota. And the capital of North Dakota has the Capitol. And that Capitol building over there, I don't know if you could see it, is about 19 stories high. We're hearing between 19 and 21 stories, so we can see it right here from the banks of the old Missouri.
There is the Heart River flowing in to join the Missouri, Bismarck, North Dakota, out there, and Missouri is heading on down, joins up with the Mississippi. So this is some of the site of Fort Abraham Lincoln.
This is the parade area, the grounds for officers' homes were here. This was where the palisades, the walls were. Everything's been reconstructed. The blockhouses are reconstructed for park purposes, historical purposes. But it's a very lovely park, and it gives us a little history of what went on in the 1870s.
These blockhouses were on some of the higher ground, provided a place to look out, or for defensive purposes. Sometimes they use them to lock people up.
And here's the schoolhouse, or where the schoolhouse once stood, teaching reading and writing to the officers' children. And it's right next door to the bakehouse. Ooh, cookies. There's the remains of the quartermaster. One of the things I might have wanted to be if I was in the Army, just in charge of the supplies. Being in charge, but just being in charge of supplies. I can handle that. There's Dan there. Here's where the kitchen and mess room is. But I really want to just show you the view. Down below, our longhouse is there, and a replica of Custer's home.
This whole fort was commanded by Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. There's a little confusion about, and I mentioned it earlier, some references to him as General Custer. During the Civil War, he headed a group of volunteers, Michigan volunteers, and he was the brigadier general of that. But after the war, when he became commissioned in the regular army as a lieutenant colonel. Welcome to Fort Abraham Lincoln. The year is 1875. This is a restored version of the house Custer lived in.
And this is where George and his wife Elizabeth lived for 2 or 3 years. And this is where he left to take the 7th Cavalry to Little Bighorn.
So, and he did not return.
Did not return.
These are some of the restored or rebuilt structures of Anna Slant Village, the Mandan village here along the Missouri. This is the inside of one of the round mound-looking structures that the Mandan Indians built in this village. So there's actually a fire going in this one. My guess is that they do presentations in here.
Here I am. Oh.
The anointed one, the chosen one.
But imagine back in the day, the Indians would come here and have meetings and eat and sleep, and this is big enough to house several.
Kind of interesting from here, you look across the Missouri and you can see the Capitol building in Bismarck.
Bismarck, state capital of North Dakota. Now what's really cool about this state capitol, it's 21 stories tall. Apparently there's an observation deck, we can go up there and look, and it's the tallest building, habitable building, in all of North Dakota. 21 stories, tallest in an entire state. Check. And there's Dan talking with the news reporter from North Dakota. Guess he once a newsman, always a newsman. Well, I'm going into the Capitol. Once a Capitol girl, always a Capitol girl.
So there is the mall in front of the state capitol. And apparently they set the Guinness Book of Records for the number of snow angels here in 2007. 8,962 North Dakota snow angels right there. And there is the Great Seal of the state of North Dakota.
We're in the hallway of the House and Senate. And here's the North Dakota House of Representatives. You can't handle the truth. So this is the North Dakota Senate. You're out of order. That's all I know. And here's the governor's office. Hard at work in the governor's office.
Robin's trying to get a picture of the flower bed, which spells out North Dakota.
And there's the state capitol, North Dakota. We are in downtown Fargo, North Dakota, but it looks more like small town than a big city downtown. From downtown Fargo, North Dakota, we're the Ramblers. You can't handle the truth. You're out of order.